Today is April 20th, 2020, or as I like to call it, the 5th week of the first year of our lockdown here because of the COVID-19 pandemic. I haven't done any new cars in quite some time now, but I want to try to have something new every single week, and there's not much I could do with the limited selection I have at my disposal. But you guys have been asking quite a bit about what's going on with the E38. We did a video last year, went over sort of what's going on with it, which is nothing. There hasn't been anything going on with it, but I just want to go over everything that is still wrong with this car and everything that's new that has come up with this vehicle. So first of all, let's fire it up because that in and of itself is a problem. I'm having quite a bit of issues with it. I started it up the other day and now there's new problems. Oh boy. Okay. Ooh, no. It might not even start. I think it's a fuel issue. Ooh, it smells real bad too. Right. So as you can see, there's a lot wrong with this car. And I think it is a fuel issue. For a while now, not that I've been able to drive the car, but pretty much since we parked it, I've noticed that there is a new sound coming from the rear end of it, a whining sound. Now, some people might have that same issue. Why it could be good for you to be watching this video if you have an E38, because the problem should almost 100% be the fuel pump. It is a really bad sound, sounds like you're screeching against metal almost, and it's coming from the rear end. At first, I thought it was the differential or maybe the self-leveling rear suspension. However, a number of posts on the Facebook group E38 Empire have pointed it to a fuel pump problem, and that makes sense. As you can see, the car's not really starting up, it's dying right away, probably because there is not enough fuel getting to it because the fuel pump is going. That's the reason why the sound was going that way, and that's why the car isn't starting up now. And even when it did start a few days ago when I was testing this, it was running very rough to the point that it was throwing a check engine light, a flashing check engine light, which is important. I did not have a chance to check the codes on it to see what the actual problem was, but I suspect it has something to do with the fuel delivery system. So that's a new problem on top of everything else that's going on with this vehicle. There's some other new things that have come up, or at least things that I've discovered since last filming an episode on this. It's impossible now to get into the hood, or rather, I can get into the hood, but then closing it back up after is not feasible. Essentially, the latches that connect the actual hood to the rest of the vehicle don't re-engage. Feels like when you pull it to open it up, you pull it twice to unlock it. The actual wire that runs into the front of the trunk is being stuck somehow. Maybe it's old. The connectors are a little frayed around at the plastic shielding. So I'm thinking that it's something to do with that. I had to push the pins in and then actually pull some of the cabling to get it to go back in. So now it closes because ideally I can't do anything with this car. I just take it to a shop and have it fixed and looked at. Fuel pump problem, gas tank problem. The front brakes are good, but the rear ones need to be done. Some suspension stuff here we talked about last time too, that I've got the Michelin tires that will need to go on this once the car is ready to go. Those will be the last, absolute last thing that we do to it, because you can see that the front tires are a little low now. There's no sense putting brand new tires for it to just sit. So we've got a fuel tank problem, we've got a fuel pump problem, we have a hood problem. We've got a lot of issues inside, headliners coming down. I was kind of hoping to be able to do that during the time that I had the car parked here doing nothing. And it might still be something that I do. Take off the A-pillars and the B-pillar trim, take out the C-pillars, and then you can pull the headliner down and you have to pull it out and then essentially re-glue it back into position. It's not easy, but it's also not an impossible task, though there are some shops that will do it for you. I think it's something that I could probably tackle, but it's not so much time. Obviously, I have plenty of it. It's just resources to actually be able to do it. I don't have adhesive glue, and finding a shop that's open that's going to sell it to me, and also how to buy it in French, is a bit of my problem. Another problem with this car really pains me, but just before we finished packing it away last year, there was a bicycle parked in front. it fell down and it broke the front turn signal corner lamp on here. So I will need to replace that. That's been broken. And like I said, I mean, there's a long list of issues. The battery seems to be okay. I have a battery trickle charger on it, but it's not a great one. So essentially, once it's full, it's done. It doesn't really check to see if the battery has redrained. So what I have to do every, a couple weeks or so is open one of the doors, kicks on the battery charger since the battery is being used again, and then it charges it up a bit more. But yeah, fuel pump problem now. That's definitely an issue with this on top of the plethora of other problems that I'm having with it. And I'm really at a point now with this vehicle that, don't tell my wife because she'll kill me, but I think it's time to get rid of it. I know it's sad, but it needs so much work. And it's not really a special car, at least not to me. I know that it's my car and I've put roughly 90,000 kilometers on it, but I mean, it's not the 7 Series. If I found the 7 Series that I wanted, an E38 that was absolutely perfect and in much better shape, it would be more financially feasible to work on that. I think this would be a good parts car. I mean, the interior is still decent enough. The rims aren't too bad. So I'm kind of at a crossroads, like I said. I don't think it makes sense to put money into this car. Let me know in the comments below, but you have to understand that I'm looking at probably $10,000 worth of work that needs to go into this car. And because of coronavirus, I have no income anymore. There's no cars in my driveway for me to film. So I'm in a big trouble. So do I strip it down, get all the parts off of it, put them into my storage area, and then hope I can get an E38 down the road? Do I save it, try to do something with it, or do I just sell it as is and, again, hope down the road an E38 comes along that's got my name on it, that's just going to be a lot less work than this? Because there's a lot wrong with it. And I could go on and on and on with all the problems that are on this car, but these are all problems that I have created by not being able to maintain it. We've talked about the buyer's guide. We've talked about what to look for when buying an E38, and there's a long list of things to consider. They aren't the most reliable cars, but they also aren't going to bankrupt you if you've been able to do the regular maintenance and you buy a car that has a service history that you can understand, because there is a lot to go on with this car. This is a flagship luxury German sedan, so it's not going to be cheap to maintain, but certainly well worth it if you've got the right example. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. The fact that it's not starting up, it's a bit of a bummer. Every time I've started this car, it has worked, and it's always amazed me that this car will start no matter what the conditions are. It has fired up. So I'll try once more. I mean, what's the point of not trying, right? The battery is pretty strong. It's been charging all week, charges all the time, but I guarantee you it's a fuel problem. That's why it's choking and dying right away, because there's just no fuel going into it. So I'll try once more just to see. Maybe we can get some codes. I don't know where my code scanner is, but why not? Let's try it out. Nah, it really smells like bad gas. And yeah, to be fair, it's pretty much been, I don't know, the last time I filled this up, it's been a while. So I don't know. It's really disappointing. Really disappointing. You know, I know you guys always ask about it. I know that there's a number of subscribers on here that came to this channel originally because of this car. And don't get me wrong, that was the whole reason why TestDrive started in the first place, was because of this specific car. I just don't know what to do with it anymore. I really don't know. So let's hope that by all of us staying home, all of us working together to keep the curve going down, being responsible human beings and not trying to go out and make things worse when it comes to this pandemic, we can get back to normal here on TestDrive, because I would love nothing more than to go back to business as usual, but I don't know when that's going to be. So we'll see. Maybe next week we'll have another video for you. I know that this is very different, more of a blog style video, but I'm limited to what I'm able to do. So leave a comment below if you got something nice to say. I really don't want anything negative, because this has already depressed me quite a bit this morning. So not super thrilled about that, but leave a comment, share whatever you want. Let me know what's going on in your world, and hopefully you're staying safe as well, as we all try to make things as normal as possible for those around us and those we love. So until next time, take care.